explain for us, if you would, what is at stake for the people of Wisconsin?
Well, first, thank you so much for having me. I want to say that what's at stake here is a decision on an 1849 law that made performing abortions illegal or a felony. And I want to say something really quick. What's sort of misunderstood here is the nature of this law. When this law was passed, Wisconsin was a new state. It was borrowing legislation from other states, and it didn't actually prohibit abortion until 4 to 6 months because we didn't know when people were pregnant, right? It wasn't until 1858, under the influence of the American Medical Association, including members who were Wisconsinites, that they took out the term quickening. So that's when abortion, whenever across the pregnancy, became illegal. Right now, there's not going to be an immediate fallout from this. We don't know when the case will come that the state attorney general filed, Josh Kaul, that will come before the Supreme Court. It's still in the Dane County Circuit Court. But either way, we know that eventually, at some point, the Wisconsin Supreme Court will decide on the case about the constitutionality of the 1849 abortion ban.
And then what does that mean for people in Wisconsin?
Sure. If it's decided that it is constitutional, it will remain on the books. Janet Protasewicz has been pretty clear that she believes it's unconstitutional and will decide against it. In that case, there also may be some options if the court decides to redraw the maps. And so that's the more indirect way in which abortion could be supported or not supported in Wisconsin. And specifically, there was an act introduced, the Abortion Rights Preservation Act, in about 2017 by Kelda Roys and Lisa Subeck. Obviously, it didn't go anywhere given the composition of our legislature. But if the court decides that the maps that are pretty widely agreed are gerrymandered are able to be redrawn, rather, then it could have important implications for the composition of the legislature and the ability to make some decisions about whether abortion is illegal or not.
Wisconsin, one of about a dozen states that banned abortion soon after the Dobbs decision. As someone who studies the impact that this has, what has it meant for your state?
I want to make something pretty clear to the viewers that there were a lot of people living in a post-Roe world in Wisconsin prior to the Dobbs decision. And this is really important to understand. There are laws called targeted regulations of abortion providers that made it so that most of the clinics in the state were closed even before Dobbs. We only had a handful of clinics in a couple of cities in Wisconsin. People in the north of Wisconsin had to travel all the way down to the bottom of the state and Illinois to secure an abortion. So I think that's one thing that's important to understand. And the second thing that's really important to understand is that it was hard to get an abortion in Wisconsin, period. It was even harder to get medication abortion because the Wisconsin legislature added additional rules and regulations that made it more difficult for people to access medication abortion, believe it or not.